Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's meeting of the Northern Ireland Assembly Public Accounts Committee. We are now in public session and I welcome you to today's meeting. I'll just point out to members that mobile phones must be set to airplane mode or turned off. It is not sufficient to put mobiles on silent as they continue to interfere with the Assembly recording. The session is being recorded in video and audio and can be accessed live via online streaming either on the Assembly website or Democracy Live. So agenda item 1 is apologies. I've received apologies from Mr Hilditch. Any other apologies? No? Okay. Agenda item 2 then is minutes of the meeting of the 9th of December 2021, which are in your pack, pages 7 through to 17. Are members content with those, and do you have your permission to sign them as being an accurate account of the meeting? Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
Chair?
Yes?
Sorry, Chair?
Yes?
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes?
I can hear you, but I can't see myself even as I've been in this meeting.
Right. Well, now that you've drawn attention to that, I'll ask those who are technically gifted to address that, but as long as I suppose at this stage you can hear us okay, we'll carry on. Okay.
That's grand. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, members, then agenda item 3 is the declaration of members' interests. At each meeting, members are required to register relevant financial and other interests in the register of members' interests. Does any member have any interest they wish to declare this afternoon? Okay, thank you. Matters arising then, agenda item 4. Are any matters arising from members?
Sorry, Chair, just some of the declarations of interest. Around the Sports Sustainability Fund, there was information provided last week that there was funding sent through to Athletics Northern Ireland, and I'm a member of a club affiliated to Athletics Northern Ireland, so I wanted to declare that for the record.
Okay. Did your club receive funding from
I'm not aware whether they did or not, but I just thought we would err on the side of caution and declare that.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 5 then, members' correspondence, pages 20 through to 27 of your pack. At this stage I would welcome Mr Donnelly, Mr Allen and Mr McCants to the meeting, and Mr Kyle Bingham is joining us remotely from the Northern Ireland Audit Office. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chair.
Members are referred to correspondence dated the 10th of December 2021 at pages 20 to 25 from Miss Beverly Wall, Deputy Secretary of the Department for Communities, in response to our letter of the 22nd of November regarding the Sports Sustainability Fund. Ms Wall has provided information on the 3 areas requested, i.e. delegation limits and funding awards, an update on the allocation of funding for 4 major sporting governing bodies out of the 23.01 million awarded, and information on Sport NI's wider funding programmes for sports and funding to cricket at Annex C. Do any members have any comments on those? Mr Donnelly, do you and your team have any comments? Oh, sorry, hold on, Mr Beggs.
It strikes me quite strange that the figure of £49999, £500,000, is a trigger action for requiring the board approval and to notify the department. I would have thought, there should have been some form of tiering where at some point notify the board and perhaps at higher sums notify the departments. It's a very, very large amount before the chief executive has to actually get board approval. That's what strikes me from that.
I think a number of members made that point at the time we received the evidence from Ms McCune. With that in mind, our members agreed that perhaps a note should go to the sponsoring department asking why the figure of £499,000 is reached, and £500,000 being the ceiling, before the board is brought into the equation. Would members be in agreement with that?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay. So we can look at that in terms of that going to the department, but also to Sport NI themselves. Okay, thank you. Any others in relation to the correspondence, members?
Chair, you'd asked if the NAG wanted to comment
Yeah.
before I intervene. So.
There's no one from those joining us remotely? No? Okay, Mr. Donnelly, sorry.
No, it's a fair point. Mr. Beggs has raised that it's the same threshold for going to the board as to the department. It's slightly odd. I don't think the delegated limit from the department, I don't think that's out of kilter. This is a department that is about more than 20 arm's length bodies, so can't...
Chair, the signal keeps breaking up. The screen's freezing.
Sorry, just hang on a moment, Mr. Donnelly. Sorry, Mr. Borland, what did you say? Right, I think what he was saying was that he keeps breaking up and his screen's freezing.
Mr. Chair, frequently if people go out of video and just stick the audio with it, might actually they'll be able to stick with the meeting.
Carry on, Mr. Donnelly, sorry.
No, as I was saying, it is a bit odd that it's the same threshold for the board approval as the department approval. I don't think there's anything out of kilter with the limit for the department, because a big department like that can't micromanage its ALBs. Occasionally, when there's something wrong in an ALB, the delegated limit would be reduced. So I think the key issue here is what the board's limit is and why that's the same. Yeah. It should be a lower limit for the board, possibly, and have they considered that?
It's just in the point where you say, unless something goes wrong, there's been a history of issues in the last few years regarding Sport NI.
But I don't think it's regards to... I know some other organisations over the years where limits were reduced on a temporary basis to sort of their house out, but in the long term, you don't want to... And even this committee has said in the past, we don't want departments to micromanage ALBs. But if there's a problem, sometimes it'll be reduced on a temporary basis.
Yeah. Well, look, can I ask the team if they could craft a letter and if they could send it, and then we'll pass it through to members and they can have a look at it before we send it on. Is that agreed, members?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Members, I then refer to correspondence dated the 3rd of December, pages... Hello?
No, I'm having problems too.
Sorry, could I ask members to mute their devices, please? Thank you. So, pages 26, 27 in your pack from Dr. Mark Brown, the Accounting Officer and Permanent Secretary, Department of Education, requesting further information on the Happy Healthy Minds pilot. The response includes a breakdown of the funding allocation, states that all primary schools are participating, including special schools, EOTAS, with a primary school cohort, and that the pilot will continue to the end of March 22. Are members content with that? Content. Agreed. Thank you. Members, I refer to correspondence and report dated the 14th of December 2021 in your pack from Emer McKee of NISRA regarding the quarterly sickness levels in the Northern Ireland Civil Service from July through to September. Under the executive summary are the key facts and figures which you will note have gone up since July and through to September of 2020. Are you content to note, and I suggest that we will raise the issue when Dr. Brady, who was with us last week, comes back to the committee in the new year. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now members, we will now move into closed session to continue consideration of the report into addiction services in Northern Ireland.
Committee Room 30. This is the Northern Ireland Assembly Committee Room 30.